you very much.
So let's say hi to this. Oh, I love this boy. I mean, there is like no one better, nicer than, because, let's talk a little bit about
Ed
your...
may be nicer.
I know, but I've known him forever, so I'm like newer with you.
Right.
And, I don't own a TV, crazy enough as it is, so I didn't get to watch the Gilmore Girls, and people would say that you were kind of a little bit naughty as a character.
Yeah, my character for 3 seasons when I was on the show kind of went through. He started out, not so much into the academic life and more into the girls and the party life. He kind of sought freedom in that and knew that his time was going to come where he had to go to work, and so he was enjoying college in that particular way. Over the course of the 3 seasons, he kind of started going to school a little bit more and caring about his relationship more with Rory, who was played by Alexis Bledel. And over the course, that was kind of his arc to the point at the end of the season, and which ended up being the end of the series for good. He was kind of the one who wanted to further the relationship with Rory and asked her to marry him, and she said no. And I walked off, and that was it. So that was this whole kind of progression, was one from like you said, to kind of maturing.
Well, let's cut to Friday Night Lights, because watching you, because I can watch that online on NBC.com, and playing the evangelical nice boy, nice religious boy, and it was so weird, because watching it when you know someone really well, like when I watch Ed and I see him be like the different person, like the actor, and you buy your friend, it's really cool.
Thank you.
And so when I watched you, I went, that's Matt. I know he's acting, but he's really like that solid. You guys and girls, you love him. But you're really investing in a good person, really, really good person. Let's talk about the experience on Friday Night Lights, because what a show. And are you coming back season 3?
Ed and I, we loved that show from the very beginning. From the pilots onwards, we would send text messages to each other talking about how great the episodes were. So it was definitely something that I wanted to be a part of, and it's very rare when it comes together in that way, when you love a show as an audience member, and as an actor you love to be a part of it, and you get the opportunity to go in there, and you get the job, and then when you go there, it's a great experience. I mean, it's really probably because of all those things coming together, the best job I've ever had, because that's so rare. Working there in Austin, Texas, it's a great cast, a great crew. The way it's shot is very unique. The creative freedom that's there is very unique. So it was really the best job I've ever had, and playing that character and that storyline. I went out to the first night I was there. A couple of cast members took me out. We went and saw some great music, and I just kept telling them, I said, I just want you guys to know that I love this show, and I have so many friends who love the show. I love it as an actor and an audience member, and they were, really enjoyed hearing that. So it was a great experience. As far as to answer your question for the next season, they're talking about going back in June or July, and I'm not sure yet what they're going to do with my storyline, if it's going to be something where they're just going to cut it, and I'm not going to come back, or I am going to come back. I'd love to do as many as I could.
But didn't we get left midstream? I mean, what is it like kissing this lovely Lila? I mean, wow, is she, like, even as a woman, I'm like, that is a beautiful girl.
Well, the first day the first episode, I had a whole chunk of scenes to do, and one of those included, us kissing. It was, it was kind of a big first day to walk in and kind of have to do that scene with her and with everybody else. Those things are always, at the beginning, more awkward than anything else.
Because why can't they just catch it like Last Call, like, in Manhattan Beach?
Yeah, it's definitely not like that. You have a crew of people in front of you, and it's more about we need your head here, and the lights here, and the cameras here, kind of thing. But to be honest, having been on the show for 3 years, and having been an actor for 8.5 years, and it's part of the job where it becomes more about you want it to just make sense for the storyline as opposed to anything else.
Then why did it take 17 takes?
Yeah, well, yes. No comment. No, she's beautiful, and she's a sweet person as well. So that's always a nice combination.
Well, I would figure that they would pair you up with a sweet person. Looks like we have a nice gal named Penny that wants to talk to you, Matt.
I'd be happy to.
Hello, Penny.
How's it going, Penny? Hey. I don't know, I mean, as far as being asked, it really, that was a show that was on for quite a bit of time with, Jared Padalecki and Milo Ventimiglia, and so there was a lot of different, characters who were on that show, so I don't know if I'd be one of the particular ones who would be asked back. I loved working on that show for 3 years, and I definitely feel like there could be some potential there to kind of tie up some things because of the way that it ended. So, I would never say never. It really always depends on the script and the material and looking to see where they wanted to go. So
it's definitely
something I wouldn't say no to off the bat or yes to right off the bat. It would just kind of depend on what direction they wanted to take it, Well, it was a little bit tricky, It was. They weren't sure if it was going to come back for another season or not, and that decision wasn't made until after those final scenes were shot. So it was kind of, unfortunately, the series was left in a position where it could possibly be an end, or it could possibly come back. And I think that was, a little bit unfortunate because it really wasn't a complete closure for all the fans of the show. It was just the way that it worked out, unfortunately. Thank you.
I think Milo's much better.
Well, thank you very much, Penny, for calling in. Thank you very, very much. That's great. That leads us into, because this is Fashion 401, it's never just about the clothing, but it is just about to be. You were on a hit show for 3 seasons, and this is where Ed's going to get involved and sort of intro what we're going to talk about, because Ed called me up one day and said, if you know Ed outside of the show, where he's so mellow and chill as an actor, he talks faster than I do. I don't know how it's possible, but he does. He was like, oh my God, do you want to work with Matt Czuchry? Like, he really, and I just went, what do you mean, do I want to work with Matt Czuchry? I want to work with Matt Czuchry. Yeah, I do. I love dressing the boys. It's so much fun. It's a lot less complicated. So, Ed, let's talk about your motivation to help your friend get some and gain some
All right, but before I pile on Maddie, let's back up a little bit. Maddie and I met on the series
Ding, 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 ding. This is, because these boys probably didn't read the outline, this is, what show did they meet on? Ding, ding, ding.
Young Americans.
Yeah.
Where all the boys were fine.
Fake applause. Fake applause.
Yeah, make applause. Make applause.
And all the boys had a tinge of orange.
Lake Como erotica. That was us.
What was with the orange kind of tinted lips on every show?
Oh, who knows? But anyway, Matt and I met on the plane flying out there, and it was a show that had a lot of potential and ended up kind of imploding, unfortunately. And after that, Maddie and I got a few different jobs, but you got to understand, as an actor, it is feast or famine all the time. And what tends to happen is when you're in the famine phase, you're just trying to get through, and then when you're in the feast phase, you tend to be kind of squirreling away for the next famine. And Maddie and I had some tough years. I think Maddie went once a year without working.
Yeah.
I think I went a year and a half. I know I'd been gone longer than you had. So it was tough. So at one point, I go walking into Maddie's place, and it's midway through his second season on Gilmore. Let me try to set this up. Okay, Maddie is driving a car that I nicknamed the Crusader. It was the biggest piece of crap Saturn with 194,000 miles on it. He was living in an apartment in Manhattan Beach that I nicknamed...
my dad gave me that car, and we drove out in that car together.
And he is a sentimental boy.
Your dad drove to the wedding to marry your mom in that car. That was the first Saturn they ever made. They probably threw it out back, and your dad found it.
It actually may have been one of the first Saturns.
So this car would break down once a week, maybe, and it would always, pretty much. So he'd call me and like,
I actually had the point when you came in on this where I couldn't go up hills.
Yeah, that's right.
And in LA, I mean, it's impossible.
And he's on a hit show.
He's been on a hit show over a year and a half. Okay, he's living in an apartment that I nicknamed the Good Ship Lollipop. It is a 200 square foot apartment that is it was built basically by some stoner in about 1965 who I guess loved ships, because it was literally like the door was a portal, and it looked.
Love that place.
Whatever, it looked like a boat, and you felt like a boat. It was so claustrophobic. And he was
pretty small.
He was watching a TV that he'd had since high school. And
my dad and mom got me that TV too.
Great, that's beautiful, Maddie.
I mean, do you hear? This is a lot of what I deal with on a daily basis. Attachment.
And his wardrobe was literally, you brought that from the fraternity. Didn't you? That wardrobe. Okay, the tennis team, whatever. You went from Tennessee to Charlotte, and now from Charleston, to South Carolina, and it was and it had been brought back to Los Angeles. So I looked at him and I just basically looked at him. I said, Matty, what the f? I mean, you got to start. You got to basically accept the fact that you're doing really well. You worked your ass off to get here. You believed in yourself. You can get some new threads. You can get a new car, and you can buy a house.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's important. I mean, that was all the piling on, but it's true that we did have a sit down, and that I'll never forget because it was really, really important. And I think that in the sense that you have to treat yourself in the proper way.
Thank you.
I think that with clothes, that's the way Barbara works. Is she comes and she looks at your closet and kind of removing the old pieces of you and putting in the new pieces is so important to your confidence and who you